Hello, good people. Welcome back to Modern Wife. My name is Siphokazi Somi. Thank you very much to everyone that have subscribed to my channel. I truly appreciate it. If it's your first time, please do the right thing and hit the red subscribe button so that you can be part of the Modern family. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you are notified every time I upload a brand new video. So, I recently celebrated my 31st birthday just a few days ago. Yes, I am now in my 30s. Last year was a practice run, but this year I'm really in my 30s, and it sort of got me to reflect on a few things, reflecting on the things that I've done, reflecting on the things that I haven't done and what it is that I've achieved. And it also got me reflecting on the things that I would have told my younger self, which is what we're going to be talking about on today's video. I want to just share a few things that I would have told a younger Siphokazi. Not that I have any regrets, but just really reflections. So let's get into the video. Okay, the first thing I would have told my younger self is that it's okay to be different. You don't have to fit in. And not that I was someone who was easily influenced or I found myself doing the wrong things, but I think when we are in our primary years, there's always that cool club and you want to be part of the cool clan or the cool kids in school. And I was never this person who was like the Beyonce of the group or stuff like that. And I often ask myself, but Siphokazi, why aren't you cool? Like, why are you so different? Why aren't you the funniest kid in class or stuff like that? And now that I'm older, I've actually realized that, you know what, it's actually okay to be different because no one else is really like you. And there's a reason why there's only one Siphokazi Somi. And that is to say that where we are different, that's where our purpose lies. In our own uniqueness, that's where our purpose really lies. And it's okay that you were different and you were not exactly the same as everyone else. So I would have said to my younger self, it's okay. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be you because your difference is really what makes you you. And then the other thing I would have told a younger me is that, oh, babes, you are going to be beautiful or you are beautiful. If you follow me on Instagram, I shared a post, I think some time ago, about how I grew up thinking that I was ugly because I was often compared to my sisters, and being the youngest sister, people would always say that our beauty ranges according to age. So I carried that with me, and then when I went to high school, I was so excited that at least I'm the only one going to the school, so I will no longer be compared to my sisters. But I found myself comparing me to other girls in school or to other girls in class. There was also a myth that at the high school that I went to, they only took beautiful girls. I don't think that is true. Absolutely not. It's ridiculous. But yes, everyone in the area believes that. So I went there and there were really a lot of beautiful girls, but I found myself comparing me. And when I saw that I was not exactly going to succeed, that's when I resorted to academic excellence as something that was going to make me different. But now that I'm older, I've really embraced, and I now know that, you know what, true beauty lies when you are really confident in who you are and you are really confident in yourself. And when I was younger, I didn't know that. And whenever someone would say to me, oh, you're so pretty, I'll be like, oh, wait until you see my sister. Or they'll be like, oh, you're so beautiful. And I'll be like, wait until you see so-and-so in my class, or wait until you see so-and-so in my school. So I did a lot of that comparison game. And I truly believe that I was ugly. And I'm not saying that now it's like, oh, I am more beautiful, or now I've really blossomed. But I grew confidence. I now exude confidence, and because I exude confidence, there's a certain way that I carry myself. There are certain things that I now do that I think makes me beautiful. Okay, what I would have also told my younger self is that you don't have to be the smartest kid in class. And that is to say that you don't have to be the A student in order to succeed or in order to make it in life. I think society, I don't want to say society, but for a lack of a better word, I'll say society. We put everyone into this box where we use academic excellence as a measure. And that is to say that if you're not the smartest kid in class, you can't really make it to varsity. And if you don't make it to varsity, you're not going to have that greatest job, and then your life is just doomed. And my problem with that is that it makes it seem as if there's only one option. Now you end up feeling like there's something wrong with you if you don't excel academically, or you actually believe that, you know what, I'm not going to amount into anything if I am not exactly smart, or if I'm not book smart, which is not exactly true, because I feel like if you pay attention to the other things that makes you, your interest, your passion, your talents, you can really nurture those, and then you can succeed in that area. So not all of us are exactly going to be professors, not all of us are going to be doctors, and that is okay. It's okay for my son or my daughter to want to be a soccer player, the same way that it's okay for someone else's child to want to be a doctor. Another thing that I would have told my younger self is that you are worth the wait. Yes, we're going to be talking about sex, honey. If we're going to be reflecting on our younger selves, I think it's only fitting that we talk about sex. Look, I've always been someone who has believed that there's more to sex. It's not just sex. I know that society has really normalized sex, and it's just that thing that anyone should do whenever they want to do it. But for me, I've always had a different view. But I've always felt as if I'm the only one who has that different view. Maybe it's because of the conversations that I had, or the time that I lived in. And not to say that I was really pressured into having sex, but I just sort of reached a time in my life based on those conversations where I felt as if, you know what, no one is really going to wait for you. No one is really going to wait for this thing that you think is so precious, that you probably think it's so precious, that no one else thinks that it's precious. And without really getting into the religious aspect of it, I've always known that, as someone who grew up in a Christian home, that sex before marriage is a sin. But without getting into that, and without getting into a soul tie, in what soul ties are and whether they are real or not, I've always known that there's a certain bond that is created when two people come together and share the sacred thing. So when I started dating and I started being in the relationship, in my mind I was like, okay, this expectation is gonna come, someone is gonna expect this, therefore prepare yourself and you need to do this. But now that I'm older, I've actually seen that, you know what, I could have found someone who shares the same values as me. I could have found a guy who really believes that this is sacred, and if our goal was to wait for marriage, we could have both done that. And if someone was not really down for that, whether they are Christians or not, if they were really not down for the wait, then it was okay for me to just say, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. But yeah, now that I'm older, I've seen that actually you are worth the wait. If you're someone who wants to wait, by all means do that. Your mental health and your emotional intelligence is much more important than your career growth. I think when we are in our teen years, or when I was in my teen years, you are so focused on getting good grades, getting into varsity, and finally getting that job. And if you get that job, then you start climbing the corporate ladder. But nowhere do you really think about, am I someone who is able to relate with others? How is my social communication? And those are the things that sort of makes up your EQ. And we are really so focused on, okay, I need to be the most successful person, I need to have as much money as possible, but you don't pay attention to your mental health at the same time, which I think is much more important. I feel like your IQ, that's okay. It can take you from high school to varsity, but when it comes to really engaging with other people, whether in the workplace or whether in other relationships, that's where your health mentally as well as your emotional intelligence comes into play. And these are things that sadly for me, no one told me about when I was younger. I don't remember my parents saying that, okay, this is how you exactly relate with others. And even in things like your life skills, I don't remember that being that much of a topic or that much of focus area to say, okay, pay attention to your emotional side as well. How are you in control of your emotions? Because I think that's very, very, very important. And I've seen that especially now that I have kids, first of all, that emotional intelligence is very required. I've seen it in the workplace as well. I've seen people, well, maybe I'm one of those people, but I've seen people that are in leadership roles that are not exactly doing what I think they're supposed to be doing because they don't have that emotional intelligence. The last thing I would have told the younger Sipokazi is live a little, like just live a little, let your hair down. So if you know me, I think a lot of people have said that I am serious, and maybe they just don't want to use the word I'm stuck up and I'm boring, and for me that's okay. Like, I'm okay with that, and I've tried to be this person who's out there, who's outgoing, who's not boring. It's really not me. It's just not me. But I was that kid, guys. I didn't even get into trouble once. Not that we needed to get into trouble, but I didn't get into trouble once in school. I wanted to do everything right. I wanted to do everything by the book. And if someone said it was wrong, I was not doing it. I was not experimenting. I was not doing anything. I was just like, this is the line. This is what my parents said I should do, and this is what I'm gonna do. And I've accepted that about me, that I'm a stuck up, I'm boring, that's it. But the reason why I'm saying that I would have said to my younger self I needed to live a little is that now that I have kids, I was actually having this conversation with my husband that now that I have kids, I feel like I will not be able to relate with my kids if they grow up to be different than me, because that's the only thing I know. So for me, I know someone who needs to follow the rules and do things by the book. And if my kids, God forbid, they end up being kids that want to experiment, being kids that want to live a little, I feel like I'm gonna either judge them, or secondly, I'm gonna be very hard on them. But if I was someone who just said, you know what, Spogazi, you're just gonna let your head down, nothing is gonna happen, and so then I think I would have been someone who is able to relate. So now I can already see, I can start seeing their personalities as it is, and I am saying to myself, you know what, I need to just go back to my younger self and see how I would have handled this situation differently if I was raising someone else who is not me. So for me, it is just coming from that point of not being able to relate with someone who might not make the same choices as me. Anyways, that's it from me, guys. Thank you so much. I really hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, please give it a massive thumbs up, and also don't forget to share the video with everyone. Let's keep the conversation going in the comment section. So please let me know what are other things that you would have told your younger self, and if you are a young somebody, what are some of the things that you sort of having questions about, and let's just have that conversation. And anyways, I love you so much. Until we meet again, bye.